Alright, so I must be a glutton for punishment because I filmed yet another music video in a hot-ass warehouse. It was definitely over 100 degrees in there, no AC, dead of summer, in California, Van Nuys, and it was hot. It was so hot, man. It was so hot, but the footage was hot too. It was fire. Welcome to the director's cut. Alright, so today we're going to be breaking down a music video I filmed with Legend McCall called Look Around. This was actually my first time working with Eric, and it turned out really, really well. We ended up getting a pier space and shooting this all in one day. This pier space had some really good looks. I think we got like 2 or 3 locations out of it for the video, and it turned out nice. I was satisfied, and he was definitely satisfied as well. Let's get into it. I'm going to start the screen record on this iPad, and we can go from there. 3, 2, 1. All right.
It fell.
Let's talk about the speed with which we are watching this market deteriorate. The market is now down 21%.
All right, so those beginning clips, I kind of wanted to illustrate the decline in American economy. These were older clips from, I think, the recession some years back. I grabbed various, news clips of the stock market crashing, and everything kind of that is a parallel between what's going on currently in 2020 versus what happened back then. And this song has a lot of those same parallels described in the lyrics. Actually, we also did a kind of like a behind the scenes fresh look lyrical breakdown of this song that I'll link below as well, that you can check out, where we sit down with Eric and he breaks down his favorite lyrics from the song and kind of goes over a cappella. But let's go.
Now down 21%.
Nice little rise with the sound design. So this place is called Beam LA. They're in Van Nuys. I found them on Peerspace. We actually just filled the room up with like some haze and opened the windows essentially. And the light coming from outside just created these huge beams. And it was amazing. And actually, this is a video where I actually was pretty excited to use the split diopter filter from Prism Lens Effects as well. This is on a 24mm, and this video was shot on the A7 III and HLG. So, and this was also with the Crane 2 gimbal. It's the gimbal that I own. I did a little bit of rotoscoping with the title behind him there. You of course got the 2517 Productions repping.
I came a long way. I made a song a
day. And if you notice, of course, the trend is there. I start with an establishing open shot or wide establishing shot, leading up to the artist, showing the titles, showing me, showing his name, giving credits. And then I go to medium shots to tight shots. This was all filmed on the 85. These gimbal shots where I'm going around the artist were all shot on the 85. With the movement for the 85mm and the gimbal, I wanted to kind of illustrate us as a viewer looking at him, or like looking around and him looking around. Because of course the name of the song is Look Around. I wanted to feel like we were circling him and he was looking around, if that makes sense. So that's another little thing I was trying to do with, kind of bringing the lyrics to life a little bit, making it a little bit more immersive. Because Nipsey Hussle told me what I should do.
Everything's a hustle, gotta make this paper. America's a corporation making statements. I know it.
I love the slow-mo that we captured in this. If you notice, a lot of the B-roll cuts go right into the performance cuts with the movements. I did that on purpose as well. I believe I shot this at 120 frames per second in 1080 with audio. So I didn't do S&Q because if anyone out there knows, S&Q on the A7 III is kind of bad quality. It introduces a lot of noise. So shooting it at 120 frames per second with audio and then slowing it down in post is a little bit better. Of course, you're able to match the audio to the song in post and then slow it down, for those B-roll cuts and the sections that you want, and still have it on pace with the rest of the song. So if that makes sense, if the B-roll cuts are the same section that he's performing, but it's a different shot, but it's still kind of in sync, if that makes sense. But yeah, another thing that you'll notice in this video that I try to do with all my music videos, so when I cut a music video, right, I don't always cut to the beat, because that can be predictable for one, it could be kind of like boring and drawn out, and a lot of times I notice people lose interest. Even myself, when watching music videos, I lose interest if you constantly just cut to the hi-hats or the bass drop. That shit is annoying and it's boring. So a lot of times I cut to the lyrics, right? So whenever he makes a point or finishes a word that I feel is impactful, I'll cut to the word instead of the actual beat, if that makes sense. And a lot of times it actually ends up falling on the beat because the rapper is rapping to the beat, but I try to always just cut to the lyrics and not the song, if that makes sense. It helps with pacing.
It had me feeling like the mafia was celebrating. Look, all we ever needed was the capital. My nigga just bought him a kilo.
And that's factual. And then also with this is of course with the dream effects as well. And you can see that crazy bloom going on with the highlights behind him. Being that we're dealing with a lot of beams and harsh light, I wanted to use the diffusion to kind of soften it up and give it more like a volume-esque look. And I knew I was gonna put some like kind of like film scratching distortion on this and flare, so I wanted it to look like vintage in a sense, you know? Vintage yet modern and sharp, punchy. The light sources were amazing in this video. Hold on, they gonna wait for this.
So look around, look around, look around, look around.
And a lot of times too, like I said, I do cut to the lyrics because it helps with pacing, but a lot of times too I let it breathe a little bit, so I don't always do constant quick cuts because I feel like that can be repetitive and predictable. So a lot of times I let it breathe to kind of help with pace.
We ain't pray for this. Hey, let you when you drop it. Hold on, they gon' wait for this. Fuck a stim.
So this was the second location in the same warehouse. It was the back of the warehouse. It's like this like mad scientist, Russian Soviet laboratory kind of look, office space. It was interesting. They had like 4 or 5 different looks in this one warehouse, but we were only able to use these 2, really these 3, because the periodic table room was a different room as well. But yeah, it's a nice little theme to this.
We don't forget what we've been through. I know the economy hurting. We in a recession. It's all on the nose. My people.
I like that everything looks post-apocalyptic in a way, like, you know, rustic, brick, beat up metal. It kind of goes along with the theme of the decline of civilization. So that's, you know, the environment in this video is a character in itself.
Stepped on the scene. 2020 been one hell of a year. Rest in peace to the great Kobe Bean.
Call outs to, you know, modern news and current events. Kobe passing away, rest in peace. Nipsey Hussle, the economy, Black Lives Matter movement, you know, what's been going on.
But I ain't a Carter though.
He actually wrote the album, I believe, this year, and it's called Stimulus Package, and it goes over a wide range of relevant topics that have been going on in 2020.
Whenever I listen to rappers, I much rather hear with no audio. It's born. All your raps is born. My music moved domestically.
And I ain't even torn. Look up L.
For real, sonically, I ain't gotta be in the woods hunting.
So yeah, for this shot, I actually used, of course, the practical light bulb in the background, but above him is a Westcott Solix at about 5600 Kelvin, I believe, beaming down over a false wall. So there's light coming down on him, and then there's a practical in the background, and then I have the negative fill on the right side of him, left side of camera, to provide some more shape, you know, get the shadow going. And I shot this with a various angles, like, you know, 24 to 85 to 35 to 50, 70, like I used a bunch of different lenses and different focal ranges for this.
Sonically, I ain't gotta be in the woods hunting lions, but you know I gotta eat. I perfected all my flows, I think that you should honor me. I wrote 3 sevens in the
lottery.
Go and pop your pussy during social distance. You supposed to be in the crib, why you texting me, you miss me. It's all fun and games until
And this shot was actually through a hole in the sheet metal. This shot right here was through a hole in the sheet metal that I just shot through. I was like, I could see him through this hole. Let me get a shot of him looking at camera.
Man panic. You don't know who to trust.
A lot of times, like, things like that'll just come about. Like, I didn't know that hole was there in the sheet metal before showing up. So it just works out. Like, I try to improvise on set and, you know, keep it original. But yeah, that's that. So yeah, that's Look Around by Legend McCall. It was an amazing shoot, although it was extremely hot in that warehouse. It was so hot, man. I don't think I've ever sweat that much on a set ever. It was hotter in there than it was at the shoot in Joshua Tree out in the desert with all the flies. It was hotter than that, but it yielded for a great project, you know. I enjoyed that visual a ton. Much respect to Eric for coming out and shooting that with me. And also respect to JD. He was my number 2 on that. He shot a ton of BTS, which you'll probably see sprinkled throughout this video, or it's everywhere. There's BTS also in the lyrical breakdown that I shot with Eric as well, breaking down the lyrics from that song. So if you want to get a deeper dive into the lyrics and what he meant when he was saying certain things, go ahead and check that out. That's about it for me, guys. Be sure to ask me any questions down below if you want me to expound on anything, or if you have any questions about any certain shots. Feel free, I'm an open book. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Until next time, stay fresh. Peace.